Hey guys, it's RJ here, and I want to tell you about a situation that happened when I was working at an AT&T retail store. So, back in about 2016 and 2017 timeframe, I was working as a sales associate at the AT&T store. And what I'm about to tell you might explain why you find it painful to go and talk to people at AT&T stores. That could be one of two reasons, which I'll get into here. And it could be not just AT&T stores. I don't want to be picking on AT&T. That's what I knew. But I'm sure the same thing happens, whether it's Verizon or T-Mobile or what have you. Even if it's something else like going to a Mac store or I guess Apple store, whatever it's called. All of these things would probably have a lot of similarities. So anyway, I was working at the store, and this thing would happen probably about once a week, where someone would come in, and I could identify what's happening very quickly because of the look on their face. You'd get these people who would come in, and they would have their phones and in their hand, and this look of terror and shock and horror on their face. And when I saw this, I knew what was going on. What they would do is they would take your phone and they say, "My phone isn't working," and they would hand it over to me. And sure enough, there's no power to it, and the screen was black, and they would just be terrified that they're going to get a new phone or do an upgrade or something like that, and it's going to be a really expensive problem. And so they're bringing it to me to try and resolve the problem. Now, little secret, probably about 80% of the time that this would happen, the solution was very simple. The solution was to do a soft reset. Now, if you don't know, this is something that anybody can do at home as long as you have at least two fingers. So, what you would do is you would just hold down the power button, hold down the volume down button, and again, at the time there would be some differences with different models, but this is basically what you do nowadays, no matter what phone you have. But hold down the power button and the volume down button, do it for about 10 seconds, and if you have your screen on, the screen's going to go black, and then typically it'll reboot. And if your screen's already black and you have power on and you do this, most likely it's just going to start booting up and you're good to go. And this is a great thing if you've got a lot of these problems where your phone isn't turning on or it's having some issues, it's not working properly or something like this. Doing this will most often, not always, but most often solve a lot of these issues. So what would happen is they would hand me their phone, I would take their phone, I would hold down the volume down button, I'd hold down the power button, and in about 10 seconds, their phone would turn on. Now, considering this look of shock and terror that they had when they first entered into the store, I would believe that the person would be so grateful that I saved them from the tragedy of losing their phone, that they would be overjoyed that I was able to solve their problem in a matter of 10 seconds. However, the reality is that is not what happened. Instead, people would end up leaving the store unhappy or disappointed or frustrated or mad or just irritated. Some negative emotion there. You can pick whichever negative emotion you want to use. That's negative emotion that they'd probably be feeling. And the reason I figured out, it took me some time, but actually the big one that they'd be feeling, and I think this is the key that I really figured out, is they would be feeling stupid. Now, it is so easy in customer service to make your customers feel stupid. And it happens a lot of times and people don't even realize it. And I know a lot of techniques now to how to avoid this, but at the time this is something that's like, oh, that's what's happening. They're feeling stupid. That's not good. I don't want my customers to feel stupid. That doesn't help anybody. So what I started doing at that point was I started approaching the problem in a different way. So what happened after I started realizing this issue, someone would come in and hand me their phone. And instead of just taking the phone, holding down the button, solving their problem for 10 seconds, I would take the phone and look at it and go, oh, yeah, that's not turning on. That's a problem. Yeah, I I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fix this. I can try a couple of things, but I've seen this happen before, and it usually doesn't turn out too good. I just want to let you know that right up front. And for about the next 5 minutes or so, I would go through and I would be like plugging into different diagnostics devices and pretending that I was doing a lot of things and trying to plug it in. Like, I just plug it into some power plug. Like, oh man, yeah, okay, maybe it was just a low battery, but I'm not getting anything here. And plug in diagnostic device, and it's of course nothing's happening because either A, it wasn't really a diagnostics device, it was just some system that was there, or it was a diagnostics device, but because there's no power to the device, it's not going to do anything. Finally, after about 5 minutes of just pretending I'm doing all these things and keeping them going, I said, you know what, I got one more thing I can do here. And I would take the phone and I would go into the back office and I'd take a sip of some water, maybe if I had a coffee back there, I might drink some coffee, you know, just do something like for a couple minutes, you know, say hi to my coworkers, maybe they're back there, there they are. And I would then come back out after, you know, maybe a minute, 30 seconds, somewhere around there. I'd come back out and I'd say, good news. I didn't think it was going to work, but it worked. Your phone is fully restored. I talked to one of my coworkers in the back and he was able to figure it out. You're all good to go. There's no problem. Now, one would think, if one was trying to be rational, that doing this make your customers unhappy, angry, upset, and feel stupid because you're playing them. The reality was something quite different. When I would do this and approach a problem in this manner, people would end up being overjoyed. They'd be so happy that I solved their problem. And it doesn't make sense. Like, in one way, I'm spending 5 minutes solving a problem. The other way, I'm spending 10 seconds. And when I spend 10 seconds, they are unhappy. They feel stupid. And they leave the store feeling like they just wasted a bunch of time. When I actually do waste their time, they feel happy and appreciative of all the work and effort that I did to make this happen. And this is such it was such a weird experience when I started seeing this happen, and I did this multiple times. Now, I'm not going to say this was, again, it wasn't like this was company policy. This was not something that AT&T was saying, oh, this is what you should do. It was just a matter that I figured out how to work this problem and make my customers happy. And on top of it, what I was even able to do in these 5 minutes, part of this whole thing, was pull their account, take a look at where their status is, if they have an open upgrade, and maybe I can, then talk them into doing some additional business and actually get a commission on that. Whereas if I just let them go after 10 seconds, there's no commission, there's no benefit in doing that for me. So it worked out in a way better for everybody. And I think this might play into some of the issues that people have when they go to certain companies where they have these experiences where it feels like people are wasting their time. And maybe it's not. Maybe this is part of the reason why. Maybe it's because there are people who actually prefer that their time is wasted and that they have this show about what is going on. And actually, there's a book called Be Our Guest. It's written about the customer service behind Disney and the Disney parks and all this. And in that book, one of the things they talk about is how they have these customer service standards, and they're going to say we want to focus first on safety, second on courtesy, third on show, and the last thing is going to be efficiency. And this is something that really encompasses why show and this pageantry of what we're doing as part of the business for the customer actually goes ahead of efficiency. Because sometimes when you do things the efficient way, it leaves your customers feeling stupid. But when you do the show and sacrifice the efficiency, it makes them feeling happy and leaving the store and overjoyed with all these and all these positive feelings. So wherever you're at, whether you're a customer or maybe you work in customer service, maybe you can take some benefit from this. Either way, if you like these kind of stories, if you like these kind of content, please like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you don't like this stuff, still leave a rating and maybe a comment about how horrible this is. I really don't care, but I do appreciate the view. And if you come back, I'm going to be making some more videos like this. So again, my name's RJ, and this is the story of my life.